Welcome. I'm Christina Allison. This is a presentation that I did for our team-based organizational communication in a virtual world, Communication 668 at Queen's University in Charlotte. And this one has to do with team collaborations. Our working demographics have changed greatly, depending on when you were born. And we have more generations working together now than we ever have. So I, being born in the 60s, started working into the 80s. And this is basically a computer that we were working on in the 80s. This was my first game system was the Atari, and that was high tech in the day. But you look now, we have complete computers the size of a phone. So we have generations all that have had different experiences with technology. My kids have never known a life without high tech. They were born in the 90s. So, I can't even imagine the kids that are born now. The idea of when I watch children on the iPhones and iPads, in 1 years old that are doing it now. It's fascinating to me. But all of these are now working in the same work environment. So it creates some differences in teamwork and how we view them. So Fusy's recent workforce futures study said that 53% of workers come into the office to collaborate face-to-face on specific projects, but sometimes it isn't possible to fully remote workers or teams in different time zones. And based on a global survey of 6,600 employees working in enterprises with more than 500 people, we don't always have the benefit of everybody sitting around the table either. And so a lot of this is about working how we are going to work in the future. So one of the biggest things that said that for the future of our workforce is the flexibility. This is in terms of hours, locations, was key for 87% of those surveyed. And that is for most generations, but it is definitely much more in the millennials. 84% believe that they could work productively outside of the office if given the right technology. 44% believe that this type of working environment is not championed by executives. And 38% said they were not equipped with the technology necessary to work effectively outside of the office. So helping the organizations to succeed, setting them up for success, you have to give them the tools, keeping up with the times and technology. Just to be able to communicate across platforms is hugely needed for success for teams. Motivation, you have to have a clear vision in review of the components of what is going to be required and for having accountability. Collaboration, this is a wonderful thing of how the silos in traditionals, how it used to be. And in this cartoon it says, I'm looking for help with the virtual team. And the function says, it's not in my P&L. And the country says, it's not in my objectives. The product group says, I'd like to help, but the silos of groups really are becoming more obsolete, especially when you're trying to do collaborative teams. So some of the collaboration tools is online collaborations, having the technology to be able to, this is like an example in this photo, of being able to work face to face, even from distance. Having the audio and visual helps people to be able to communicate together like you were in the same room, but you can be continents apart. So these are some of the collaborative tools in Groupware: Zoom, WebEx, ShareFile, Google Docs, Dropbox, Skype, OneDrive, chat rooms, message boards, calendars, and task managers. These are to be able to work with teams, even if you're all remote. So motivation is key. It's the idea that it's not, collaboration and motivation isn't always money. That is clear. But the idea of how to be able to create that vision and the motivation for people to work together. Interpersonal communications. AI is huge coming up in the future. And here's some examples of that, is the idea of the 3D, mind you, this is just a Star Wars example, but truly it's becoming much more of a reality in our times. And the one here with the technology of the touchboards in 3Ds that make the whole that AI is going to make a difference in how we communicate in the future and be able to do things literally collaboratively in the moment, and more so than just the video that we saw a minute ago, but truly to be much more collaborative no matter where we are, and we can do things at the same time. It's fascinating where we're going with this. We are changing times how we work together. The idea of open space and collaborative space, opposed to having individual offices and cubicles, really are becoming obsolete. And the we share places, the WeWorks, where you don't necessarily have an office space, but there are office spaces that are set up for teams to come and work together, or to do even as a virtual thing, to have a collaborative space to go to, more than just a Starbucks. And these are the references. Thanks for watching.